My 7-year-old daughter and I were watching an episode of Long Island Medium during one lazy after-school afternoon in the kitchen. She turned to me and said, "Mommy, when a woman prays, she shouldn't say, 'Amen,' she should say, 'a woman.'" I was rendered speechless by the sheer profundity and humor of this statement, and I wondered if my daughter had just hit the nail on the head of our current struggle for progress. Women are rising everywhere. The future is female. Women are rising everywhere. Last week, the American people elected to the House of Representatives the first ever Muslim woman, the youngest woman, the first Native American woman, the first female governor of Iowa and Maine, and the list goes on. Perhaps at a time when we are witnessing women advance in the political arena, we are also experiencing a new birth of spiritual feminism. Since the dawn of Christianity, God has been male. Even when I think of my own personal version of God, an infinitely benevolent energy source that inhabits every quirk of our reality, and those beyond, the amorphous loving blob that comes to mind still retains a masculine quality. However, I see ways in which this is changing, both in regard to my own view of God and in the way feminine spiritual qualities are being embraced in the world. We are beginning to embrace more feminine spiritual qualities as a result of the horrible chaos and tragedy that has become our day-to-day reality. For instance, out of the Sandy Hook massacre came a movement, Days of Kindness, that promotes kindness above all else. The spiritually feminine qualities of empathy, vulnerability, openness and healing are on the minds and lips of more and more people. Long Island Medium's Teresa Caputo herself is a symbol of this changing spiritual atmosphere. I first became fascinated with psychic mediums in the mid-90s after watching an episode of Unsolved Mysteries that featured the renowned George Anderson. 20 years ago, psychic mediums were widely dismissed as con artists or charlatans. In 2018, a female psychic medium has achieved celebrity status and is adored everywhere. This would have been unthinkable in 1996, a world out of balance everywhere. We see signs that we are living in a world that's out of balance. Our bodies are out of balance, the number of people experiencing chronic disease is at an all-time high, and is still rising. Our minds are out of balance, mental illness is rife and emotional well-being remains elusive for many. A lack of balance in humanity must be reflected in the natural world, because we are nature. As we go, it goes. Yet, in nowhere can we see more evidence of this instability than in our natural environment. We are not separate from nature. A lack of balance in humanity must be reflected in the natural world, because we are nature. As we go, it goes. We live in a world that has long been dominated by the masculine qualities of action, strength, logic and reason. Feminine qualities of intuition, nurturing and emotional vulnerability have been widely viewed as signs of weakness. In the past, women were labeled the weaker and assigned a second-class status in society. To be a woman was to be powerless. But women are finding their power. As we embrace our feminine spiritual qualities, we begin to heal our world. As women everywhere find their voices and rise to positions of power, we begin to see feminine energy as a strength equal to those masculine qualities that have been celebrated in the world thus far. As this process unfolds, slowly but surely, I believe we will begin to see signs of healing in a million little different ways. After all, can we really separate our physical lives from what is happening at the spiritual, unseen level? As we embrace more feminine qualities, and as we learn to view the divine as possessing masculine and feminine qualities in equal measure, and with equal strength, we will see a reflection of this new vision in our world. Change is slow, but it is guaranteed. There are many reasons to be hopeful. If you look for them, you will see many signs of the growing tide of change that will eventually bring human beings, and by extension, the natural world, back into balance. A simple verbal mutation invented by my 7-year-old has reminded me that God is as much feminine as it is masculine, and that feminine spiritual qualities carry enough strength and power to transform and heal our world.